Let's go indeed. So yeah, we're just here again on another Thursday afternoon to bring more truth to light about Daniel's case. So that's the whole goal, is getting some of this information out there for the public to read and hear and understand. So that's what we're going to do again. And I know I mentioned something over the weekend, I think it was, about starting with Terry Morris's accusations, but we need to read Jannie Ligons. We need to read Jannie Ligons' transcripts first. So tonight we're just going to read the preliminary transcript. It's not very long, and we'll read that first. If you haven't already, there's her police report and this preliminary hearing links are both in her room, Jannie Ligons' room, in Discord, in Daniel's Truth Discord. So you can read you can grab that police report and compare it to whatever you're going to hear tonight in the preliminary hearing, and you can kind of start comparing your own notes, making your own notes and your own observations, and excuse me, and you can kind of bring them up side by side. If you're able to do that, bring them up side by side and pick out your own inconsistencies. And that's the whole idea about having the room where for each accuser, where we can put all this information for you, so that on your own time and your own convenience, you can go back and check anything else out that you want to know more about, or misunderstood, or missed part of, or if you do want to make your own side-by-side comparisons, which I completely encourage you to do. So that's where we're at tonight. We're going to read the preliminary transcript, and then we'll probably discuss it for sure. Cherie is working until later this evening, and so she may be able to pop in with us later. And I haven't heard from Alice, but I know she's been pretty tied up in her own little personal world, and that's great. So I want to say hello and welcome to everybody on the panel, and we'll start with Susan. Hi, Susan.
Hey, Rhonda. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm just
good. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us and digging further into this case.
Absolutely. All right, and Susan is going to read the part of Jannie Ligons tonight. So we always look forward to that, to Susan's reading. So thank you so much, Susan, for helping us out again.
You bet,
Rhonda. Kay, how are you doing, Kay?
I'm good. Welcome, everyone. Ready to get going.
All right. And Kay is going to read the part for Gayland Gieger tonight. He will be the one that will be questioning Jannie Ligons in the preliminary hearing. And so thanks, Kay, for doing that for us. And Jack, how are you doing, Jack?
I'm doing great. Hope everybody's doing well today. You ladies and people in the live chat, thanks for coming. And yeah, I'm ready to read this, but apprehensive at the same time.
Well, just so everyone's aware, Scott Adams, for whatever reason, Scott Adams doesn't do any cross-examination of Jannie Ligons in this preliminary testimony. So, but I believe there will be some parts where he will have some objections on Gayland Gieger. Hopefully, we'll see. So hello to everybody in chat. And if everybody's ready, we are going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to read the part of the court reporter or the judge or and the court reporter and Lori McConnell if she, I don't know why that's not working.
Now,
And the
Scott
part of
Adams,
Lori McConnell.
Scott Adams doesn't have anything on this round, does he?
Oh, he does. Well, he's not doing a cross-examination, but I have no idea why my transcript isn't showing up on the thing.
Well, we got a Happy New Year though. That's always good.
Yeah. Yep. Okay, let me get rid of that background. That's probably the problem. Oh, goodness.
No, that's not it.
I know I've had the backgrounds before, and that's never been a problem.
It's StreamYard being StreamYard,
I've never had problems with StreamYard, so it's weird to me.
Sometimes I do and then it just works. I don't know. It's weird.
It's magic.
Okay.
Like magic.
So, let me restop the screen sharing, and I'll reload it.
One moment, please, while we reload.
While Rhonda figures out what the problem is. It's not even showing available. I don't know what's out there. That's okay. Okay, here it is. All right. Okay, so I will start by starting on line 11. And we'll get going. All right, here we go. The court. State may call its next witness.
Thank you. The state calls Jannie Ligons.
Ma'am, would you step over here by the bench just a moment? Right here is fine. All right, have a seat in the witness chair, ma'am. Ma'am, if you'll just make yourself comfortable where you can face out toward the lectern out there in the middle of the room where you can talk right at the microphone. Uh-oh.
Are you muted, Susan?
Oh, darn it. I was
Line
muted.
22,
Sorry.
the witness. Right.
All right.
Would you please state your name?
Jannie Ligons.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Gieger, you may inquire.
Miss Ligons, if I can, ma'am, I'd like to turn your attention back to the early morning hours of June 18th of 2014. Do you remember that day?
I do.
Something unusual happened to you that day, ma'am?
It did, sir.
Okay. If you can, I want you to turn your attention back to that evening. Can you tell the judge a little bit about what you did that evening? So I'm talking about as it got dark on the 17th of June and then as it on past midnight and into the next day. What were you doing during that time?
I was at a friend's house playing cards and dominoes. That's where I usually go to relax. I work at a daycare facility and I have grandkids and I stay with my daughter. So I have to be there with them. I sit there until it's almost time for them to go to bed. They can sleep and then I'll go back. Sometimes, not all the time.
I don't want to know your address, ma'am, but you said you live with your daughter?
I did.
What part of town? What part of town was that back that you were living back then?
Northwest.
Northwest?
Uh-huh.
The friend's house that you went to play dominoes and relax with. What part of town are they in?
East side.
East side?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me generally don't give me the exact address, but like the streets that it's on?
46th and Terry.
46th and Terry on the northeast side of Oklahoma City?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
About what time did you arrive there on the 17th? Or was it after midnight? So it was the 18th that you got there.
The 17th.
Sometime during the evening of the 17th?
Uh-huh. Maybe around 7-ish or 8. Some.
All right. And you've already told me a little bit about what you did. Did you do anything else than just spend the evening with them playing dominoes and doing?
Just with them.
Okay, did you have dinner?
No. Watch television and basically,
Okay, did you drink?
no, sir. Kool-Aid. Had Kool-Aid.
Had some Kool-Aid? Did you smoke any marijuana?
Well, actually, I don't want to lie. I don't smoke marijuana, but my friend had a joint and I just like hit it once and that was it. I really don't smoke it. Yeah,
You took some?
I did.
Were you high or intoxicated?
Oh, no, sir. Never.
Okay. At some point, as you stayed there with your friends, did the evening come to a close and did you decide to leave?
Right. I decided to leave because it was getting late and my fiance works at Chesapeake and I know I had to take him to work in the wee hours of the morning. So it was getting late and I had to leave.
Do you know what time then do you know what time back then he had to report to work at Chesapeake?
He had to be to work. I take him like we'll leave about 4-ish in the morning because he have to be there at 5. And I was across town and I had to get there. So I had to leave.
Okay, about what time of night or early morning is it that you decided to leave your friend's house?
It was about 2, little after 2, between 2:05 and 2:07. In between that time, a little, a little bit after 2.
Okay. Early morning hours around 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay, when you left your friend's house, do you remember the direction you went or the path you traveled?
I sure do. I left there.
Can you tell me where you went?
I left there and I went to 46th and Terry. Then I turned on 46th and Terry and I went to 48th and Prospect. That's my mom's street. I always go down my mom's street. She stay on 48th. I passed 48th and Prospect and I went all the way down 48th and Prospect. How do you do that?
Okay.
To 48th and Everest. And I turned there, right there, made that right on 48th and Everest and went down.
Could you slow down just a little bit?
Oh, I'm sorry. I do talk fast. I'm sorry. I talk fast. I went to 48th and Everest and I made that right turn.
Okay, time out for just a minute, okay?
Okay.
So you left and you said you drove by your mother's house, is that right?
Always. Yes, sir.
Is that because why do you drive by your mom's house?
My mom is ill and I always check on her house to see if anything is okay.
So you drove there and I understand you're being very detailed with me and I appreciate that.
Uh-huh.
Eventually, did you make your way to Northeast 50th Street?
I did make my way to Northeast 50th Street, sir.
Okay, when you got on 50th, which way were you going? Where were you?
I was going towards 50th and Kelly, right there at the light.
Were you headed eastbound or westbound?
I was going westbound because I'm going to I-44, but I noticed a car behind.
Ma'am, you were going westbound on 50th, is that right?
It was. I turned right there on 50th and Everest. Right there, I made the left.
Okay, let's try to answer just the question that Mr. Gieger asks, and then he'll ask more questions.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you.
Miss Ligons, I know you're kind of anticipating where the events that night, but if you just kind of stay with me and just take it step by step, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, sir.
So you were westbound on 50th and you're heading back toward the part of town where you were living back then?
Correct.
Was it your intention to get on I-44 at Lincoln?
That was my intention to get on I-44. Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's the direction you were going.
Yes, sir.
At some point, as you were on 50th, ma'am, did you notice a police car behind you?
I noticed some lights.
Tell me about that. What did you notice and what did you do?
I noticed some lights on the left side of me as I was driving because I looked through my side mirror, and as it got closer, I know it was a black police car with some big old white letters on it that said police, and it got up a little closer.
Okay, was it one of those police cars? Do you know what the difference between the new ones and the old ones are?
Of course, yes, sir.
Okay, was it a newer one or an older one?
It was a new one.
Okay, and if I understood you, he actually came up right beside you
Correct.
on the driver's side or on the passenger side?
The driver's side.
Okay, what did you do or what happened at that point?
I kept going, and then he got behind me as the lights changed on 50th and Kelly. He got behind me, and I kept going straight. And when I got to the lights on 50th and Lincoln, he was behind me, and I was going to make the turn, but I kept straight. I was going to keep straight down to Western, and that's when I passed 50th and Lincoln. That's when he put his lights on, and I pulled over.
All right, so he initiated a traffic stop, is that right?
Right, correct.
And you're at the area of 50th and Lincoln.
Yes, sir.
Do you remember if you were on the west side of Lincoln or the east side of Lincoln, if you know?
I really don't know.
You just know it was that intersection.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll ask you, ma'am, do you know if that's in Oklahoma County?
Of course,
All right. Did you pull over and stop?
I did.
Okay. And when you pulled over and stopped, can you tell me what happened? Did the officer approach you?
He had his lights on. When he got out of his car, I opened up my door on the driver's side because my window don't roll down. Yes, he did. And he stopped me because I was swerving. And I said, no, I wasn't swerving. And then that's when he asked, what did I have in my cup there? That it was alcohol. I said, no, sir, it's Kool-Aid. I said,
Tell me about that cup. Where was where was there a cup in your car?
it was sitting in the center of my cup holder.
Okay, and you had a cup there. What was in it?
Kool-Aid.
Okay, and so he asked you about it. What did you say?
I said, answered it. I said, it's Kool-Aid. I said, you can taste it.
And what did he do?
Then told me to step out of the car.
Did you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, when you stepped out of the car, what happened after that?
I started walking back to his car. Then he was walking back, but he was walking backwards. And then he looked at me and he say, "What are you nervous for?" And I'm like, "Really? I'm not nervous," which I had. I had took a PM actually before I left because I had a headache. I had took a PM aspirin, but basically that was it. I told him I wasn't nervous.
Are you saying you took a PM aspirin?
It's an aspirin. It's an aspirin.
Okay.
It's for a headache. That's all.
Like an Advil PM or something like that?
Yeah, it's in my purse now. Yes, it's in my purse. Yeah.
Okay. So did he direct you to walk back to his police car?
Yes, sir.
And that's what you did?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, did he put you in the car?
Yes. After he put my hands on top of his car and he started searching me.
Tell me about that. How did he search you?
I had my hands on the car and he just started patting me all over and said, "Do you have anything illegal on you?" I said, "No, sir." He said, "You better let me know. If you do, I'm going to take you to jail." I said, "No, sir. I don't have anything illegal on me."
Okay, stop for just a minute. So at this point, are you standing up
I'm standing up.
beside the police car?
Uh-huh. With my hands on top of the police car. Yeah.
You did some motioning, ma'am, whenever you were describing that.
Uh-huh.
And you were patting your legs
Uh-huh.
as he searched you while you were standing up outside the car. Do you feel as though he touched you inappropriately in any way during that exchange?
At that point in time, no, sir.
All right. So after he patted you down, he asked about illegal substances on you.
Uh-huh. Correct.
And what did you tell him?
I told him I didn't have any on me. He patted me down, didn't find any, and he told me to go sit in the back of his police car.
Did you do that?
Yes, sir. And he shut the door on my.
So you were all the way inside of it?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Was that a yes or a no?
Yes.
Thank you.
What did he do at that point, if you know?
He went back to my car. Like I said, my window don't let down. So my door was left open on the driver's side. He went inside my car, apparently. He saw that was Kool-Aid, and I guess he went through my purse.
Could you see him through the glass of the police car?
No, I could not. No, I could not.
Okay, so you just know that he went back to your car.
Oh, I seen him. Well, no, I take it. I saw him go to my car.
Ma'am, I need to ask another favor. If you will help me out a little bit. If you're talking at the same time Mr. Gieger is talking, I can't understand either one of you. And this lady who is writing down what we're saying can't possibly write everything down.
Okay.
If you could not talk over each other and wait until he's completely through with his question.
Okay.
Because you're kind of doing it to me right now, too. See? Let's just talk one at a time, just like kindergarten, okay? Thank you. Mr. Gieger, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Miss Ligons, you a little bit nervous?
A little bit.
Okay. Let's just take our time and get through it, okay?
Okay.
All right. I was asking you whether or not you could see what the police officer was doing in your car. Could you see him through the window of the police car or not?
No, sir.
Okay, you talked about how he was going through your car. How do you know he was doing that?
He went to my car.
Okay, you just assumed he was looking around inside of it?
Yes, sir.
Well, after a while, did he come back and approach you again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about that. What did he do?
When he came back to the police car, he opened up the back door where I was at, and he said to me, he said, "How do I know you don't have anything in your bra?" So,
Now, Miss Ligons, I want to be real clear that I understand what you're telling me. Okay. You're still sitting inside the car,
right,
but he opened up the back door
right.
and he's standing beside you.
He's standing beside the car. Yeah. He said, "How do I know you don't have anything in your bra?"
Oh my God.
What did you say?
And I started making motions with, like, picking with my bra. I said, "No, sir, I don't have anything in my bra." And he said, "I can't tell like that." And I'm like, "What? You want me to lift up my blouse?" And he'd be like, "Yes." So when I lift up my blouse and my bra came up, he took his flashlight and shined it on my chest. And I put my blouse down real quick.
Okay, so your decision to go ahead and pull your shirt up, your blouse up,
Uh huh.
had he just asked you one time about your bra and is your response is I'll just do that, or had he asked more than one time, or tell me exactly how that happened?
Well, she just did.
No. He asked one time for me to lift my shirt up, and being a police officer, that's what I did.
So he told you to lift your shirt up.
Yes.
Okay, and when you did that, did you say that your bra came up as well?
It basically, it kind of lifted and it came up like that, and he shined his light and I put it down.
Okay, whenever you lifted your blouse up, ma'am,
Uh-huh.
and when he started shining, were your breasts actually exposed or was your bra still covering your breasts?
No, it was exposed to a certain extent. Not all the way up, but it was exposed.
Okay, were your nipples exposed?
Yes, they were.
Okay,
Whoa,
and he
whoa,
took
whoa. We need to pause. Sorry. First of all, Jack is having some pretty serious sighing fits.
No shit.
Jack, anything you want to say?
Well, she's altering her story as they go along here because, and he's goading her. He's leading her to say what he wants, right? And I can see this right now. I want to be exactly clear about what happened. He says he does this a couple of times, so he's rearranging the story because she just said she was part. Well, she first said that kind of that when she pulled her shirt up, her bra came up too, and we know. Look, I'm not trying to be mean or judgmental about anybody. Breast size comes in all kinds of shapes and sizes. So unless you're flat chested, if you pull your shirt up, your bra's not just going to automatically go up with it, unless it's like
No.
5 sizes too big. You got to pull that elastic out, right? Not saying I've taken any bras off. I'm not saying that at all. Just want to be clear.
I was wondering how you were so familiar.
I just want to be clear about that. Well, I've heard it from other people. Okay. So I'm just saying that the story's getting altered now. I see this right now, and he's not quite as leading yet, but he kind of is. That's why I'm sighing so damn bad.
It's been just, I mean, I don't know if anybody else could hear you, but I could hear you, and I just thought it was funny. And that's great.
Oh, yeah.
So don't hesitate to ask for a pause if at any time if you heard enough for a minute.
Did you guys catch the part where she says that he put her hands on the car?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I would like to know how that all went down.
Yes. Yes.
Like he physically put your hands on the car?
Yeah, that's
He
just
put my hands on the car.
And also, now we didn't go over the police report in very much detail at all for this case, but almost none about what she just testified to. Almost none of that is in the police report. There's nothing in the police report about any part of her breast, whether it be the bottom fleshy part or any part of her breast. She doesn't say any part of her breast was exposed at all in the police report. So
And that's where it becomes a real problem for me. So now it's turned into something much larger than what was in the actual police
yes.
report way back. I don't know how many months is between the police report and now. You could probably tell me, but
Well, yeah, it's like I said, if you get a chance, after we're done with this, go into her room in the Discord in Daniel's Truth and read the police report or listen to Bates' podcast. Even better. But there's no time ever that she claims that any part of her breast was exposed. And I noticed that Gayland Gieger is just like you said, Jack, kind of goading her into saying something, like getting
that's right.
her to say more. He wants to make this he wants to up the charge on it, for instance. What is it that he wants to take the charge from her exposing herself to him asking her to expose herself and then making her show her breasts, and that's not at all how it occurred.
And I would think that when he was searching her outside the car, that he would have asked her to do the clasp and shake if he wanted to know if there was anything in there. I don't know.
What police officer puts someone in the back of their car without searching?
Fully searching? Yeah.
Right.
She's not in cuffs. Yeah.
No. I mean, if you're not going to search them, you're going to put them in your car, you might as well just leave them in their car.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. Okay.
I mean, that's just like, was it Regina Copeland who tells the bizarre story about how Daniel pulls her over, he pulls his car in front of her car, and then he searches her car while she's standing behind him, and then he searches her.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's not even dumb cops would do that.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. We'll break down some of the other points that I caught, or I'm sure that you've all caught very early on in this testimony. We'll go over some of those after we finish reading, but we can go ahead and pick up where we left off.
Is that line 23?
Were your nipples?
Yeah.
Your nipples exposed? Yes, they were. Okay. So.
Okay, he took a flashlight and shined it on them?
Yes, he did.
Did he touch you in any way?
No.
Okay, and then I think you said after he shined the light and looked, then you put your shirt back down?
Correct.
Okay, and at that point, what happened?
At that point, he said, "How do I know you have anything in your pants?" So I started doing my pockets like this, and he can't tell like that. And he wanted me to turn around, like he said, turn around to the side. And I turned around to the side, and he asked me to get out of his car. I got out of his car. And so I started fidgeting with my pants, and he can't tell like that. I said, "What? You want me to pull my pants down?" And he said something like, "Yes." So me not knowing, I pulled my pants down. And when I pulled them down to my knee. And I had on black underwear. And I kind of was fidgeting with him. And he had his flashlight. And he was kind of shining it between my legs. And I pulled him up really fast. And I turned around to get back in.
Now, okay, so You've actually stepped out of the car.
Yes, sir, I did.
Are you standing in that part of the car where the door is open, but you're just standing right there?
No, I was outside the car.
I understand you're standing up, but is the door still open to the passenger side?
The door is still open.
Are you right in that area where the door opens, or have you stepped away from that area?
I stepped away from the door.
Okay. As I understood it, you said you pulled your pants down. Did your underwear stay up?
Yes, sir, they did.
Okay, so your skin, your private parts were not exposed.
No, sir, it wasn't.
All right. And you pull them down, and then he looks with a flashlight again.
Up to the flashlight.
During that time period that you've told me about, either while you were sitting in the car or you pulled your shirt up at his direction, or when you got out, did you notice if he was doing anything with was he touching you? Was he doing anything with his hands during that time period?
Jesus. Objection leading. Sorry.
He wasn't touching me, but he was touching himself. Like, had his hand down there, touching himself.
At what part of this exchange did you notice that he was touching himself?
When I got back into the car, and that's when I noticed he was touching himself.
All right, now hang on. So you got out, you pulled your pants down at his direction, you pulled them back up, and then you got back in the car.
Correct. Yeah. After he made a comment, like he said, "Damn, you got a big ass." Those are the exact words. And I'm like, "Oh my God, he's gonna kill me." That's what I kept saying to myself.
And at that point, he directed you to get back in the police car?
Uh-huh.
Was that a yes or a no, ma'am?
That's a yes, sir.
Thank you.
And is it at this point, Miss Ligons, that you noticed he started touching himself, or is
It was at that point he started touching himself when I got back into the car, sir.
whenever you told me about that a moment ago, ma'am, you did a motion with your hand and you motioned to basically the crotch area or the private area. Is that where he was touching?
Correct.
Where his penis is?
Correct.
No, his penis is down on his knee, Giggle. What the fuck?
Yeah. He keeps his
She-
genitals down
Oh.
there.
What the hell, dude? Okay, and then you also told me a moment ago before you got back in the car, he said you have a big ass and that caused you to have a reaction. Did that make you afraid?
Oh, most definitely.
Okay. Well, why?
Because him being a police officer and the things he was doing, and I'm to myself, oh God, he's not going to risk everything and let me go. What he's doing or what he's saying to me,
Risk
say-
everything. Risk what?
he's going to kill me. Risk her telling.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I think that's what she's trying to say.
Was any of this
Okay.
in the police? Was this in any of this in the police report?
I mean,
Some version of it.
I
Are you talking
Yeah,
about a
maybe-
report that Daniel made or what?
well, she wrote a report. She wrote a statement at the hospital, and some of this stuff is in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not exactly like this. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Just different versions in different places at different times. And yeah.
yeah, I mean, she doesn't say he put her hands on the police car, things like
No.
but she does say that she put her hands on the police car. So, let's see. Okay, Miss Ligons, you're back in the car at this point. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Now, are you all the way in with the door shut, or is the door still open?
The door is still open.
Are your feet in the car?
My feet is in the car at that point in time.
Okay, but the door is still open.
The door is still open.
Okay, what happens next?
He had me to turn my feet to the side, and that's what I did. I turned my feet to the side.
And by that, do you mean you put your feet outside of the car?
Outside of the car, sir.
But you're still sitting on the passenger.
I'm still sitting, but my feet are turned outside.
And you're in the back seat of the car?
I'm in the back seat,
Okay, do you remember which side of the car you're on, the driver's side or the passenger side?
Passenger side.
Yeah, you already told her she was on the passenger side a couple of pages ago. So, back seat, passenger side? Okay, what happened then, ma'am?
He unzipped his pants and takes his penis out and said, "Come on." Then I quoted. I was twirling my hands together. I was so afraid. I said, "No, sir. Now, you're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do this, sir." He said, "Come on." He said, "I don't have all night." He said, "I just got off work." By this time, not a silver, it was a gold SUV passed by the street, and he was like in front of me. He had his hand on top of his car, and when the SUV passed by, he looked at it as far as where it was going. It went through the parking lot where I had pulled over at. The car went to that parking lot, and he was following them as they were going through the parking lot. And as they passed and went all the way around, then he turned back around to me.
Okay, so he watched where that car went?
Yes, sir, he did.
Did that car go on by or go where it was going?
It went on by through that parking lot.
Now, ma'am, I want to ask you a couple of things about what you just told me, okay?
Okay.
As you're sitting in the car, he's standing beside you?
Correct.
Okay, and you said at some point, you said he unzipped his fly and he pulled his penis out. Did he just unzip it and take it out of the opening of the fly, or did he undo the pants and do it some other way, or do you know?
I can remember. He didn't undo. He just unzipped it and took it out. I remember very well.
Okay, it was exposed?
It was exposed.
Do you know if it was erect or not?
Excuse me?
Do you know if it was hard? Do you know?
I would say so, yes.
Okay, as this car goes by, he's now put his hands up on top of the roof of the car,
Uh-huh.
the police car.
No, the
Uh-huh.
DeLorean, the DeLorean from Back to the Future.
And I think
God.
she said he put his hand singular on the car. So now
Yeah.
Giger's putting his hands up there because that's what she wrote in a report, probably. Got to
She
correct
said he
that.
had his hand up when the car drove by. Sounded like
Right.
just one hand. Yeah.
hmm
Okay,
Okay,
was
so
that
this.
a,
Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I didn't know where we were. You're right.
Oh, okay. Line 16. Was that a yes or a no?
Oh, yes. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
After he watches the car go by, what happens at that point?
He turned back and looked at me and said, "Come on." He said, "I don't have all night." He said, "I just got off work and I'm tired."
Let me ask you, Miss Liggins, do you know what the police officer shifts are in Oklahoma City? Have you ever been told what they are?
No, sir, ever.
Okay, as you sit here today, do you have any idea of what shifts, what time officers get off in the middle of the night, things like that?
No, sir.
Okay. He says, "Come on, just got off." What happens next?
He told me he just got off of work. And I'm sitting there, "No, sir, don't make me do this. Don't make me do this." I said, "You're going to shoot me." And I'm sitting there looking afraid. I tried to bend my head down, but I was looking at that gun in his holster. And I'm saying to myself, when I bend down, he's going to shoot me in the head. I was really afraid. So I tried to, but I couldn't. I raised my head back up and I said, "Sir, please don't make me do this. Don't make me do this. You're going to shoot me." Then he made the comment. He said, "I'm not going to shoot you. I promise." I said, "You promise?" And he kind of made a snicker sound.
A sniffle sound?
Oh my God.
A snicker, like a grin. He kind of grinned.
Like a laugh?
A laugh.
Okay, and what happened then, ma'am?
After then, because he said he wasn't going to shoot me, promise. I tried to hold my head back down and touch his penis, which I did a little bit, but I was so afraid. I held my head back up and I said, "Oh no, sir, I can't do this." He backed away and he let me out of the car.
Were you pleading with him at that point?
Yes,
Coacher.
sir. I thought he was going to kill me. I just did. I couldn't see myself getting away with that.
Miss Liggins, before he backed away, I know you said a moment ago you did. Did his penis go in your mouth?
It did a little bit, not much, but it went in there.
Not for long.
Not for very long because I wouldn't allow it.
That's how rape works.
Right.
Okay, so you tried to do what he said, but then
I tried. I couldn't.
and you pled with him to stop, and he did?
He did stop.
Can I pause there for just a second at line 22,
Yeah.
21?
Go ahead.
Was any of this corroborated by the grainy video?
Absolutely not.
I didn't think so.
None of it's
You can't
corroborated.
really tell these kind of things on the video. All you can see is Daniel's flashlight and the movement of them. I mean, unless you have some guidance with that video, you can't really tell anything that's going on.
Yeah.
Okay. Just I was curious. I couldn't remember for sure.
No, nothing to validate anything she says.
Damn it. I wish it would have been
Me too.
better video.
Yeah, no kidding. What do we? Line 22.
21.
What happened at that point, ma'am?
He backs up. I get out the police car and I didn't know what else to say. The only thing that would come to my mind, because I thought when I walked away, he was going to shoot me in the back. The only thing I could say was, "Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for not taking me to jail." And the thing he said to me, he said, "Okay, I'm going to follow you to your daughter's house." I said, "Follow me to my daughter's house?" To myself, I said, "Why are you following me to my daughter's house?" And so I'm like, fine. So
Had you told him you were on your way to your daughter's house?
I did.
That's why he knew that.
That's why he knew that, yes.
Okay, so he says he's going to do that.
He's going to follow me to my daughter's house.
Are you allowed to get in your car?
I got in my car.
Okay, and then what did he do? Did he go back to his car or what happened?
He got in his car for him to follow me. I turned into the driveway where he had stopped me at, but he's going to follow me. But he's always ahead of me. So when I turned around, we both at the light getting ready to turn on I-44 in Lincoln. He went so fast I barely saw which way he went. And I said, for somebody to follow me, they sure is going fast.
Ma'am, could you talk just a little bit slower? I can't
Doesn't that
write
make
nearly.
any sense at all?
None.
No.
She mean he's always ahead of me. He left before she even pulled out, didn't he?
Well, yeah, the video does show that he took off first and made a U-turn, and then she did the same thing behind him.
Uh-huh. She
But it
didn't pull
doesn't
into
show
that
him.
parking lot.
Yeah, it doesn't show him speeding away at a high rate of speed or her pulling into a driveway.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Line 3, Susan.
Oh, I'm sorry. They told me to talk. I'm going to talk slow. But he said he was going to follow me over to my daughter's house. And when I got
Okay, so you got to the light and you were going to make the turn to get on I-44,
correct,
but he just took off and kept going?
he took off bad. It was fast, speeding, real fast.
Okay, did he go on the freeway onto I-44?
He went on I-44
And he was ahead of you now?
way ahead of me.
Okay, did you go the same direction he was going?
Yes, sir.
Okay, were you able to see, could you still see him when you got onto I-44?
No, sir.
Okay, but you know he went on the same direction as you?
Positive he did.
Okay, ma'am. Lincoln and I-44, there it goes up on a bridge and kind of comes down. Is that the part you're talking about? Is that fair?
Uh-uh. He went I-44. That one way is Broadway Extension. Another way is I-44. He went I-44.
So he didn't get on Broadway, he kept going.
No.
So you were able to see that
Uh-huh. I saw the back of his taillights.
once you got on the freeway, got you. Okay. Well, after that happened, ma'am, what did you do?
After that happened, I was so afraid that I was so nervous. I was looking for my phone because my phone was sitting in the center of the car, and I started feeling for my phone. I said, my phone, where's my phone?" I couldn't find it where I had it sitting at. So I said, he took my phone. But I felt up under my seat and it was up under my seat. And
So you found it, but it wasn't where you had left it when you got out of the car.
I found, no, sir, it was not.
What did you do with your phone?
Picked it up. I was going to dial my daughter, but I was just trying to get to her house. I just put it down and I just made it to her house.
Okay, when you got to your daughter's house, what did you do? Did you tell her what happened?
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Getting onto I-44 is not the direction of her daughter's house. Oh, wait. She was at a friend's house prior. Okay. So her daughter lives in that direction, I guess. I was crying. I woke her up out of her sleep. I said, I need to talk to you. Something just happened to me. And she was mad because I woke her up and she jumped out of bed and she said, what? And I told her what happened. And she said, "What?" And she started screaming and she was so upset.
Everybody was upset.
Yes.
Did you and your daughter decide to make a report to the police?
Yeah, she called. She called the New York Division Police Department. We got no answer. We called downtown. We did get an answer. They told us to try back or they might have been out. So she got her kid out of bed. She got them dressed, her kids. Her boyfriend was there. We all got in her car. We went to Spring Lake Police Division.
Do you know where that is over on the east side?
Yeah, Northwest, yeah.
When you guys got to Spring Lake, was anybody there?
No one was there. It was dark.
Okay. What did you do?
I left. I looked around to see if I saw any lights or anything. There was no lights. We left there and we went down Lincoln, like going back toward her house. We saw two police cars parked like side by side, like they were talking. We made a U turn and went back. And I started telling them what happened. And they called the captain. And the captain came and they took a report. And they took me back to the scene where it happened. And they went to, I guess, surveillance cameras. They got everything from surveillance cameras. They took me to Integris Hospital, do a mouth wipe, all that.
They let you see a nurse at the hospital
Seen a nurse. Yes, sir, I did.
and they swabbed your mouth. Is that right?
They swabbed my mouth.
Okay. And you told the police officer what had happened.
Exactly.
All right, Miss Ligons, do you see the officer in the courtroom that did these things to you?
Most definitely.
Okay. Can you tell me where he's sitting and what he's wearing, please?
Right there.
Okay. What's he wearing?
A black suit with a blue tie sitting right there on the end.
On the end?
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes or a no?
That's a yes.
Okay, I need to be sure exactly what your answer is on this one.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Ask the record reflect identification, Your Honor.
Record will reflect that the witnesses pointed out Daniel K. Holtzclaw as the person she encountered on June 18, 2014 in the early morning hours.
Oh, wow. Thanks for that narrative, Judge.
No shit.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Make a record, Judge.
Oh.
Ma'am, that night at the hospital, you remember talking to a police detective, a female detective?
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you remember telling her, ma'am, at the hospital, that the individual that did this to you, you remember him having blonde hair? Do you remember saying that?
I remember saying that.
Okay. Are you certain that the person you've identified in the courtroom today is the individual?
He's the individual.
Okay. What can you help me understand the blonde hair part?
It was the lighting and me being afraid and I was scared to look up at him too much.
Okay, let me ask this. Were the overhead lights on during the traffic stop, like the lights on top of the police car? Were they spinning and flashing?
They were on.
Do they spin? It's not like Adam 12 or something. Hell.
Spin your flash.
One Adam 12. See a woman.
See the man on the corner.
Okay, sorry. Um.
On 10.
Okay, pass the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examine. Wake up, Jack.
Sorry. No, I'm awake. I had to unmute. Sorry. My bad.
Okay.
Okay.
Line
I
13.
think he was doing a cross-exam.
He's not. Be line 13.
Line 13.
Oh, shit. I don't have any questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Liggins, that's all the questions we're going to ask you. You can push the microphone aside and step down. May Ms. Liggins be excused?
She may, Your Honor.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
You're free to leave. Thank you, ma'am.
I was backing up reading something.
Okay. So that's it. That's all from Jannie Ligons in preliminary. And Scott Adams had no cross-examination.
Can't believe that. I don't
Which is
understand
weird
it.
because she leaves out a whole chunk of the story about what happened. They act like it was just easy to make the police report.
Yeah.
They don't talk about calling the relative whose son
Oh, yeah.
works at Spring Lake and him advising them to tell them to just call 911 and an officer will come to them. Any of that. She doesn't say that her boyfriend, she doesn't say anything about her boyfriend and him talking to her or him following them in the car.
I didn't realize that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
You
mean, they
wouldn't
say
know.
it happened. I bet it didn't really happen, but
Mm-hmm.
Has Scott Adams ever said why he didn't cross-examine Jannie Ligons on? I just don't understand at all.
I don't know.
what is the date of this, Rhonda?
I don't know.
Okay, come on.
November. No, I mean it was September. I'm trying to think. It was. I can't remember.
All right, I'm
going to
go look.
from it. Yeah. Yeah. So even though that wasn't very long, there is so much contradiction in that testimony. And and like Kay was saying, a lot got left out that even Gieger didn't question on. But him leading, I'm like really struck by the fact that he was so desperately trying to lead her to say that she exposed her breasts because he made her, and even tried to get her to say that Daniel touched their skin. And none of that was even a part of her police report. So why was he pushing that so hard?
Rhonda, do you have the photo of his car in police custody? Where we can see there's no prints on it.
I may have those handy. I will look for them if you like to chat.
So this is on November 17th, 2014.
Oh, okay.
So there's no reason for Adams not to challenge some things because they have the results back that her SANE kit came back negative for Holtzclaw's DNA.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's no reason for him not to cross-examine her. Even if he didn't have the same exam results back, he had a fucking police report and an interrogation video. I'm
trying to remember when all the discovery started getting dumped onto him because Gieger was dumping discovery like in just large amounts of discovery.
Huge batches. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of duplicate stuff just to fuck with him.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Being a dick for sure.
Let's see.
DA should get sanctioned for that shit.
Yeah.
Also dumping a bunch of discovery right before trial. They do that a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yes.
and for flat out lying to the jury, should have got the whole case overturned. That's my opinion, of
Mhm.
course. Don't know if I have those pictures in my personal file, but I thought I did.
I'm eating peanut butter fudge and I just can't stop. Somebody help
Oh,
me.
wow.
Don't be weak. Be strong. Willpower.
I'd be
Oh.
eating that if I had some.
I would too. I mean, if I could get it from you, I sure would.
It's the most amazing fudge. Oh my God.
It's yummy
Creamy.
stuff. Well,
Well, stop talking about it. I don't even have any chocolate in my house. It's
either.
tragic.
Well,
Our
yeah, you really
chocolate's
need
all
to
gone
stop.
now.
You need to really stop because I do have chocolate left that I haven't consumed yet. So
Oh,
be
That sounds
gentle.
like a.
let's see.
Oh man, you're funny.
Sorry guys, I had to brag.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Well, I'm not like jonesing for anything though, because I've had plenty of junk between Christmas and now, so it's not like feel like I'm being cheated. I will have to go into because I think it's important to see if I knew exactly where in the exhibits.
You have an exhibits file?
I have them in my files.
You want a link to it?
Oh yeah, that's fine. I was just gonna grab mine, but I'm sure yours is.
Oh, I mean, I just happened to see one. Hang on, what the heck?
I'm just gonna try to grab the.
Hey, we're not very
the-
technical people.
Huh?
So we're not very technical.
No, we're not. We're not very techno at all. I'm just trying to find pictures of Daniel's the evidence photos of Daniel's car, the outside. I thought I had them in my personal pictures file, but I don't have them downloaded.
I put that in Discord messages, Rhonda.
All right.
Oh, except like, where the hell's it gonna be? I don't know.
What?
In that exhibit file, it's a bajillion.
I don't know. I'll have to.
This is probably take 100 years to figure this out. Let's
Maybe.
see.
We'll find them. Because they don't mention anything in the. They don't do any exhibits in the. In the preliminary, they don't have any exhibits to show. So. Okay, let me. Sorry, guys in chat. I'm not ignoring you. We're trying to find some good stuff for you guys to see here. Okay. And I don't know if those are searchable, so.
No, it's not. It's just a big CF.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maybe I can. They are in order. Let me see if I
Okay,
can
here.
find out what number they
got
are.
'em.
Oh, good.
Well, I've got hers, and I'm sure his are right after hers. I'm thinking. So I wanted to say something while we're some of us are fiddling around looking for exhibit pictures. Let's see.
You think you can do
Whatever.
two things at once, Rhonda?
I can't. Can you tell that I'm like not capable of doing that? I'm like really struggling right now. Sorry, guys. I can't chew gum and walk at the same time. Okay, let's see. So this is the front of the patrol car. Obviously, there's nothing there. This is the left front driver's side. Nothing there, but we didn't expect that. Nothing, no prints on this. And if you look, though, you can just see that well, it's kind of hard to see in these pictures because they're photocopies, but if you can get past the graininess of the photo itself, you can see that there's raindrops, or dry, like it's rained or sprinkled the night before or something. That's the inside.
Pigsty.
Yeah, just pigsty. Okay, so this is okay. So you still can't really see here, but over here is where she claims she had her hands on the top of the car up here, and where he put his hand when he was trying to hide. And as you can see, there just doesn't look like there's any prints anywhere here, no smudging or anything. And not only that, but oh yeah, there's the front of the car.
I thought I remembered better photos, like closer.
There are some photos that are a close up of the top of the car. I don't know where they are.
They're probably, I know they're not where, I know where I have to go to get those, but anyway, so you can kind of tell that, and maybe I can get them for you for next time too, or I can just get them and put them in Discord in her room too. But when she is trying to, when she's talking about when she's testifying about how he drove up next to her in the left lane next to her, pulled up next to her, that wasn't true. He didn't pull up next to her. He was only ever behind her. When he was behind her, he was in the left lane. And then when he saw her swerve, he got over into the right lane behind her, but he didn't ever pull up beside of her. So, it's that was just one of the first things that I noticed that she said, but she's always maintained.
That was his story, right?
That's his story, yes.
Yeah.
But she, no, he wasn't this, TJ, I think going back to why Scott Adams didn't cross-examine, he's not court appointed, he's hired by the Holtzclaw. So there's just a lot of, and as we continue, reading transcripts and going through different things, you're going to see a lot of times where you're like, why the hell didn't he do an objection here? Why isn't he objecting? Why isn't he, a lot of that, because, there was a lot of
Rhonda,
missed opportunities.
Hey, Rhonda, go to holtzclawtrial.com, episode 1. And when you click on that episode, below the photo of Daniel and Jannie Ligons, you can click on Daniel's patrol car photos.
Yeah, that's where the good pictures are. The traffic stop or wrapping up?
Episode 1. The Jannie Ligons stop.
Yes.
You can see the film of dust on the car, but this still doesn't show a close-up enough shot of the top of the car like we have seen.
Yeah,
Well, actually, if you blow it up, you can actually see that the dirt isn't disturbed.
Okay. Is it going to be in the same spot where her car is, I think?
No, there's a tab for her car and a tab for his car.
Huh. Oh, there it is. Yeah, these aren't really any better, I guess, than the evidence.
Well, if you're able to blow up the one on the passenger side, you can see the dirt on the top of the car. The film of dirt. It would be undisturbed. You would see handprints in it instead of a film of dirt.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen.
And it did not rain between the time that Daniel was stopped her and he reported for work the next day.
No, I don't know if it was like a, yeah, it's just, you can just see the dust is the thing. Okay, so there's a bigger picture. So let's see.
She didn't really say when he was searching her what part of the car she was leaning on. I would think it would be the back of it, or the front. I don't know.
Yeah, well, there's really like not a lot of consistent statements at all from her. So you guys can, for all of you guys in chat, you guys can all find this on holtzclawtrial.com, episode 1.
Are you able to blow that up, Rhonda? Zoom in on the
thought I
top
did.
of the car right there.
Right there is.
Can you guys see the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, I don't see any obvious handprints, that's for sure.
Well,
Right.
yeah,
Or
that's
disturbance, or yeah.
yeah, that's for sure. You certainly don't see where there was any handprints. So,
And you would think, with her story, that there would be very good shots of that area of the car.
Well, yeah, you'd think, except there weren't any handprints, so you don't really want to highlight that.
Right.
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, like I said, you can see all those pictures and do all of your zooming in and inspecting all as much as you'd like in holtzclawtrial.com, episode 1. And the full police report also is in there, as well as Discord. But in holtzclawtrial.com, Brian Bates has done a lot of highlighting and different things on the police report. So yeah, you can certainly see that there aren't any. And not only are there not any prints that are visible on the car in those pictures, but I lost my train of thought.
I mean, that proves right there that her story is BS.
Right, and that's why they had to get Terry to become a part of the case, because there was nothing. They weren't going to be able to even charge him for her.
Yeah.
So he had to be a serial rapist, and how she got to be added in with no evidence to support it is just.
That's what I
they
was
got
gonna
her
say.
to totally change the date and the place that it took place. I mean,
Oh yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's why I'm so anxious to get to Terry Morris. But that's also not only is it not visible from the pictures that we have that we're able to see, but when they came back with all the forensic testing, they said that there was no no fingerprints or handprints on the car. So, it's like Kay said, you don't want to take pictures too close of pictures on it when you don't have any handprints to show.
Did you say that's in a report, Rhonda?
That there were no prints.
Yeah. What did you just say? I missed the first part.
That in the DNA or the forensic reporting, there is no. They said that there were no prints on the car.
Okay. So yes, it's in a report.
Yes, it's in a report. Sorry.
And also, Michelle asked Kim Davis Michelle Malkin in the Daniel and the Dan interview. She asks, "Did you test for DNA?" And she said, "You can't test for prints and DNA. You can't do both. You got to
do both.
You can't do both.
You can't do both."
No, but you can take photos of prints
or lack thereof.
Yep. So yeah, just the whole preliminary was just already bugging bad, because it was just one big lie and it was one big lead fest from Gieger, and so
Kim Davis doesn't even write her police report from what happened that night, June 18th, until July 24th.
Wow. Another Colburn.
Yeah, it's another bullshit. Let's make sure everything lines up here.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, that's just but however, Rocky goes in. Let's see. I don't remember where this was. It might be in holtzclawtrial.com or Bates podcast. I'm not really sure where, or it might be in depositions. But Rocky goes into the sex crimes office on the morning of June 18th and writes his report about Terry Morris.
That he should have written a month before.
Yes. Yes, that should have been written in early May or late May or early June. But he doesn't write this detailed report about Terry Morris until June 18th, after the Jannie Ligons incident began, and before he goes in to interrogate Daniel with Kim Davis later that afternoon. And his reasoning for why he went in, I think it was like 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning, because it's real quiet in the office at that time, and he knew he could get the Terry Morris report done or some crazy shit like that. But just little things like that, you guys. It's just small things. I mean, to us, there are a lot of big things, but it's even just small shit like that you go, what? That doesn't sound suspect at all. So,
and Rocky's partner, Rob High, he writes a report on 7/29 about the things that happened on June 18th. And he's the one who suggested linking Terry Morris.
Yes.
Looking at her.
And when Kim Davis and Rocky Gregory do the interview with Michelle Malkin, the 2-hour-long interview, they're talking about Michelle makes mention of Terry Morris, and kind of implying that Kim Davis was already thinking about Holtzclaw when she talked to Jannie Ligons because of Rocky's case with Terry Morris. And she's like, oh, no, I didn't know anything about his case. I knew he had a case of somebody that he was looking for, but I didn't know anything about it. But when she gets into the interrogation with Daniel, she's all about, backing Rocky up with his story about Terry Morris, and how they believe Terry Morris is saying the exact same thing that Jannie Ligons was saying, and she did not. She did not say the exact same things that Jannie Ligons said. So it's just really it's infuriating and frustrating. So what we're going to do, hopefully next week, we will read the trial transcript of Jannie Ligons at trial, and I will. It's 87 or 88 pages, 85 to 88 pages. I can't remember exactly, but it's long, and I know that those make for really long lives that can be daunting to stick around and listen to all together, all at once. And so what I'm going to do is we'll definitely read that entire transcript, but I would also really like to read the trial testimony as well, of her daughter's testimony, of Jannie Ligons' daughter, to see what Marissa Ligons says about this whole thing under oath. I only hesitate to do that because it will make it another 3-4 hour long podcast, and I'm really trying not to do that. So what I will do instead is we'll put the transcript of the trial testimony in Jannie's room, and I will also include transcripts from her witnesses. And so even if we don't get to read Marissa's trial testimony, I want you guys in chat to go to Jannie Ligons' room, and I want you to read what Marissa says in her trial testimony. We'll see, how things are going to go, if we feel like we can get all of that in one show or not. But it's of all of the witness testimony in Jannie's case, she's the one that you're going to really want to pay attention to. And also, that was something I wanted to bring up too. When she's testifying Jannie's testifying in this preliminary, notice how mad she says her daughter was. My daughter was so mad. And at first she says because she had to wake her kids up or whatever. But then she says that she's so mad about what had happened to her, to Jannie. So, I know that I've kind of pounded that into your minds, that I feel like her daughter had a lot to do with Jannie making this accusation. And I'm just borrowing Kay's opinion, based on, or not opinion, but information that she shared about Marissa. But it makes perfect sense to me, how involved in, justice, social justice, I guess, that her daughter was, and involved in that local, I always call it a Black Lives Matter organization, but Artists for Justice, like Kay reminded me last week, Artists for Justice, which is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, not connected to Black Lives Matter, like a cousin, like a first cousin to Black Lives Matter organization that Grace Franklin
They do
started.
they do the same kind of things, but they created Artists for Justice specifically for this case to get people
Right.
organized, so that they could, their main objective was to have protesters and demonstrators out there the whole time during all the court proceedings, especially for trial.
Yeah, and they were successful, and it was horrible listening to news reports of all of the chanting going on. It was horrific. It was really upsetting. Catnet says, why did JL do a TV interview without the approval of detectives just 5 days after her encounter with Daniel. Well, I believe that was all by design. My thought is, they know, her and her daughter know that that is going to get Oklahoma City pissed off. And I think that's all part of it, honestly. I think it was intentional, and I think it was done to create a problem in the community. That's just my opinion of it, though. Anyone else?
No, I agree with that. I mean, you wake your daughter up out of a dead sleep. You tell her, this officer made me raise up my shirt or whatever she told her. He pulled me over. He searched me. He put me in the back of his car. I was scared. I thought he was going to shoot me. Yeah, she's going to be instantly pissed at the Oklahoma City police. And here is a white officer hassling a black citizen. And that's what she's not, she already has strong opinions about that. And rightfully so. But I just imagine that's exactly where her mind went, was to other events that had occurred in Florida. And at this point, Ferguson wasn't going on yet, but that happened right before Daniel's arrest.
Yeah. Yes, by this time there was already everything in the news except for who the actual officer was, before trial, or before he was arrested. And that took place just after Ferguson, that whole situation happened. So, certainly by that time, I mean, the kindling and the fuel and everything was all ready to go. All they needed to do was throw a match. And
yeah, you don't know how Jannie Ligons' daughter and how Marissa and Jannie interact with each other. I mean, in deposition, Ligons made a comment about, yeah, they talk every day. And I can't remember exactly what she said, but like, it basically made me think that, they have a close relationship, but they annoy each other.
yeah,
Um,
I think she says as much as that actually in the deposition.
yeah, I just can't remember her exact words.
Yeah, I can't either. They're close, but yeah, she gets on my nerves, or I think something like that. Yeah, we're close, but she gets on my nerves.
She says something condescending, and then she said, I can say that because she's my daughter.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I wanted to read this comment out by Sheila. She says, it made me crazy that they stripped him immediately of everything with just one accusation. Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Yeah, they were reining it in. They weren't going to let this get out of control. It's really obvious, because what happened in the next not even 24 hours was crazy. That they already had him guilty. They already were investigating him as a serial rapist without even ever talking to him or having any results from tests back yet. He was going down already.
Yeah. And and then finding DNA was like, it was like a dance party for Kim Davis, because at that point she really thought that well, we do have a rapist or serial rapist cop on our hands, and at that point she was just determined to make the best out of it, make the most out of it that she could. She did.
They did test some smudges, supposedly. I mean, I say supposedly there were smudges, but I'm sure there would be smudges somewhere. They did test those and they came back negative for the smudges yielded either no DNA or only a few alleles that did not match Ligons or Holtzclaw's DNA profiles. And the fingerprints did not match Ligons or Holtzclaw either. So this contradicts what Kim Davis said to Michelle.
Yeah.
You can't do both, she said, but it looks like they actually did both.
Can't do both. Can only do one.
Did both.
Oh God, yeah. When you listen to that sick interview that they do with Michelle Malkin, it's just so.
Oh my
her
God,
voice
she
is
was so
horrible.
she was so artful in handling those two detectives.
Really
Yeah.
was.
I mean,
It's so worth watching that interview to get a
she
feel
really,
for those two.
yeah, she really kept her cool and manipulated those two clowns quite a bit.
She
Yeah.
did.
She did good. I'm wondering, Katnick, can you grab the link for that? I know we shared it before, but you can grab the link for, if you're still here, for the Michelle Malkin interview with Davis and Gregory. Because while it's gross in so many ways, just listening to Kim Davis speak, her voice is just so obnoxious and annoying and cringy. But it's really, she does a good, Michelle Malkin did a really good, she's very professional, I guess is what it comes down to. Very, very professional with her journalism skills. She was never really condescending, but she asked some questions, and Rick Smith, the city attorney, was really annoyed with Michelle Malkin during that interview. And you can hear him. You can't really hear what he's saying, but you can tell by Michelle's response, to the comment that he made. Basically, he wasn't letting them talk about whatever it was that Michelle tried to bring up at that point. And we're not going to talk about that, blah, blah, blah. And so he shuts it down. And Michelle's like, well, I know, but I just, she was trying to ask a question that, it was a sensible question. I mean, it made sense. And can you guys remember what it was? Hey, can you remember what that question was? And then Rick Smith over on the side pops in and she says, I know, but I'm just asking. And he says something like, yeah, I know what you're trying to do or where you're trying to go or something to that effect.
No, I can't remember what that part was.
But yeah, he shuts it down.
He was just trying to explore something more. I think it was, she kept trying to dig in on, I don't know, was it I feel like it was the evidence that didn't match what Jannie was saying.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It was weird.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, we'll have to listen to it if we can stand it. Yeah, we don't like her either, Sheila. She's the most cringe individual in this whole shit show. She's horrible. That's why, when I'm making videos or whatever, clips or whatever I'm doing to show you guys different things, I have made some of the most crazy, ugly, disgusting, goofy, quirky screenshots of her face that I could possibly make. Because that's what, when you see some of those faces, that's what I think of when I look at her, like, you are a weirdo. So you'll have to, if you haven't watched that interview yet, go watch it, because it's incredibly informative. If nothing else, just to show you how much Kim and Rocky are lie about everything. And the more you know about the different accuser cases, the more you'll see how much they're lying. So
In this preliminary testimony that she gave, she says that he asked her about the Kool-Aid right there when he first stopped her before she got out of the car. But that's not what she says. She describes, I think even in Kim Davis's report about this, she says that while they were standing back by Holtzclaw's car, he told her that she looked like she'd been drinking. I guess he had already searched her car and came back to talk to her and said that he thought she looked like she'd been drinking. He questions her about the cup in the console, and she told him it was Kool-Aid. So that's her sequence of when things happen changed quite a bit.
Right. Yeah. This preliminary is very different from what we hear. We read in the police report. Different things that we've heard her talk, where we've heard her speaking in media and stuff like that.
And it's different in her trial testimony too. The Kool-Aid discussion happens back by his car, so her trial testimony contradicts her prelim testimony.
Right. And something else that I thought was interesting in the preliminary testimony, where she says that he tells her to get out of the car and to come back to his car with him, and she's walking behind him, but he's walking backwards in front of her. No way. There's just no way. And I can't imagine that any officer who has somebody out of their vehicle to remove them from their vehicle for whatever reason, I can't think of a time when I've ever seen one where the officer lets the person that they're speaking to get behind them. They don't let you walk behind them. Cops do not let you get behind them where they can't see you.
I could actually see him walking backwards as a way to gauge her gait.
Yeah.
And I mean, here's the thing. He's been a football player his whole life. He can walk backwards as well as he can walk forward. It's not a thing in his brain.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't know what he said, if he contradicts that or not, but I could imagine that it could have happened.
Well, I think he's capable of walking backwards, but I can't think of a time where I've ever seen a police officer allow a suspect, no matter what level of suspect they are, be behind them at all, walk behind them. I'm not saying that I'm right and that it's always that way. I just can't think of a time when I've seen a suspect be allowed to walk.
He would have eyes on her if he's walking backwards.
Or so he just has her in front of her. He possibly she's walking ahead of him like normal. And he's, watching her from, I don't know. I mean, I'd love to know.
We're just, it's all speculation.
I'm just throwing stuff out. I mean, nothing is, just things that I like. So Sheila says, an adult woman that uses the term boobies should not be involved with sex crimes. Well, even more than boobies is hoo-ha. Twirling around her hoo-ha. Oh, God. Twirling your penis around in her hoo-ha. She's so disgusting. So there's that. And then also she says in the preliminary that he didn't, I don't know if she said he didn't ask, but she says, he just went and searched my car. He just went and searched it. Did you know he was going to search your car? No. Did you see him search your car? No. I just know he or whatever she said, in response to Gieger, that he just searched her car. According to Daniel, he asked for permission to search her car, which I believe he did. I mean, maybe he didn't, but he says he did, and I have no reason to doubt that. It's definitely, if a cop can get permission to search a vehicle, they're going to jump on that most of the time. So, according to him, she gave permission, and that was that. But here in preliminary, she says that he just did it. So, I don't know. So anyway, let's see. I'm just trying to read some. Catnip says, in the cases I've come across, I don't remember seeing a detective be so unprofessional and act naive, especially one in sex crimes. Yeah, she's just, Kim Davis is just, she's just a different breed all into herself, and she definitely gives detectives a bad name, in my opinion. So. Okay, Liam says, Kim tries the poor little me act to try and disarm people, but it just comes across as creepy to me. Yeah, that's too. Me too. I shouldn't say yes, me too. And just her and the way she, inflection, the way she says certain things, and you can't do both. I can just see her saying that to Michelle Malkin in that interview. Can't do both. So, she's a weird character. And Rocky's just, oh man, I don't know. He comes across very passive and submissive almost in this interview with Michelle Malkin. But let me tell you, when we do get into Terry Morris, and when you guys see what he did to Terry Morris, you're going to see somebody who's definitely got a cruel streak in him. At least that's how I see Rocky. So, and he just lies. Everything he says is a lie. So,
I guess he just gets more comfortable as time goes on, knowing that he just framed someone.
Yeah.
It was his actions that started the whole serial rapist thing.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So I think that's, unless anybody else, Jack or Susan or Kay, has anything else, or anybody in the chat, if you have any questions or anything, more comments, I think that's all we have for tonight. And so I don't want to miss the comments either. Catnip says, perhaps it's a personality trait to mirror others, but as a trained detective, she should know better. Trying so hard to relate, in my opinion, it becomes insulting, and this case should have been flagged for her to be retrained. Yeah, for sure. Well, she retired right after, though. Right after the trial was over and everything, she retired. So, who knows? And she tells Michelle Malkin, because she's retired at a rather young age. And she's like, because I could. I did my, whatever she says. I don't know. But TJ says, you can't fix stupid. That's what I've been told. Okay. So, Susan, anything else you want to add or ask about this episode? Maybe she's taking a nap.
She's getting
I'm
more fun.
I'm sitting here talking muted, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I don't believe Janie's story. Nothing proves it. So, yeah, there's that. Started the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
It's a tragedy.
So many lives ruined just for them to get their outcome. All All right, Jack, you've been awfully quiet tonight. Are you muted too? Yes, he is. Everybody's muted. Or he might be eating. He tends to do that when he's on the panel here.
Not
Dan-
always. Sorry, I was muted sitting here talking. I'm like, shit, they can't hear me.
No, I'm muted.
So,
You
you know,
amateurs.
I'm sorry.
I said, you amateurs. You got to
That's right.
unmute.
That's right. That's right. Just a rookie. Yeah, it's yeah, I haven't talked much, just listening to you guys talk and dealing with this side issue going on. I'm sure you guys have seen. So anyway,
Side issue?
if you well, okay, if you haven't seen it,
I
you
haven't
will.
seen a side issue yet.
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't
you
know about
will.
the side issue. Okay.
Well,
Oh, yay.
Yeah, you're gonna see it. It's gonna be like a triple face palm. You're gonna have to grow an arm.
Oh
Oh,
man.
okay. Okay. Well,
Hey,
can't wait
No
for that.
I'm just noticing before we jump off of here that Jenny posted on Facebook about talking to Daniel. I'll just read it to you guys.
Okay.
Got to finally talk to Daniel today. He sounded great. It's been a few weeks since I last spoke to him. I kept missing his calls, unfortunately. He wanted me to tell you all that he appreciates all the letters he received over the last few months. He's trying to get back to each and every one of you as the letters arrive. Daniel had a good December overall with close friends and loved ones visiting him for his birthday and Christmas. For 2024, I'm hoping the new year brings positive energy and movement into the case. Please continue to keep Daniel in your thoughts and prayers while he continues to live in a prison for crimes he did not commit. Daniel continues to maintain his innocence.
That's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I know he's really been blessed to get correspondence from people who have corresponded before and from new people as well.
Yeah, that's good. That makes me happy that you folks have been writing and, contacting him.
And the visits are longer. I don't think I mentioned on here that I did go visit Daniel for his birthday in December. And over a period of several days, I was able to visit with him for 21 hours. So it was really nice.
That is so cool that you could stay
Well,
that long.
Yeah, I filled him up with a bunch of vending machine hamburgers, and he loves
Mhm.
energy drinks. He can drink a ton of those monsters.
Sorry.
Yeah. And then he had another visitor for Christmas, and they allowed some outside food. So he was able to have some food that he hasn't had in 8 years.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Good for
it was
him.
good. It really was good. He said it was the first time that he's had that, oh my God, I'm so full sensation since he's
Oh.
in prison.
Oh, wow.
That's
That's amazing.
awesome.
Kind of miserable.
Well, but for good reason.
He wasn't complaining.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that was cool.
That's awesome. I'm glad you got to spend so much time with him.
Yeah, it was so nice.
And
Played a bunch of
Kat,
games.
that's awesome, Kay. So yeah, that is great.
All right.
Yeah, so just kind of off topic a little bit, but my daughter was talking to me this morning about Shawshank Redemption came on somewhere. And so she decided, I haven't watched it in a while. So she decided to go ahead and watch it. And one of the little ones came up to her and asked her what she was watching. And she said, Shawshank Redemption, the original wrongful conviction case. And I was like, yes. I mean, I don't really talk about the case to my family a lot. They all know, are aware, and they're aware of Daniel's story. And that I believe he's wrongfully convicted, and they're all aware. They just don't really follow it very much. But when she said the original wrongful conviction case, I was like, yes, something's sinking in. It made me think something's sinking in. Not that I need anything to sink in, but it was, Green Mile too. Yes, those are two of her favorite shows. She loved Green Mile. Is something she's probably watched that show 100 times, I would imagine. So,
Well, the Green, both are great movies, but I love the Green Mile.
Yeah, they're both great movies. So yeah, my daughter, the original wrongful conviction case, I was like, yes, that's my girl. So, all right, you guys. Excuse me. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll let you know what I'm going to do next week. You guys know me. I'm always wishy-washy, I guess, about some things. I'm having some dental work done next week, next Tuesday. It's going to be pretty extensive. So my panel advised me to just wait and see how I feel about whether or not we start the trial testimony on Thursday.
You're going to be drugged up. You'll be fine.
That's what I'm thinking. You guys are going to be doing all the reading. All I have to do is scroll.
Living better through chemistry. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah. So I mean, if you don't see a notification for me on, to be coming on Thursday to start the trial transcript, it's going to be because I'm in really bad shape. So otherwise, I might be a little goofy and loopy, but you guys are used to that. You've known me long enough.
I was going to say, so normal. You'll be normal. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll be normal. And it'll be fine. And I'll just leave the reading up to the stress. Liam says scrolling may be random. It could be. And I'll just let the panel do the reading and all the commenting, and we'll just go from there. That's kind of how I feel about it. So we'll see. But
hey, Rhonda, before we get out of here, can I do just a quick plug?
Absolutely. I wasn't done yet. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I thought you were fixing to go.
No.
Well, I was just going to say.
Waiting for you to say what you got to say.
Well, for those that are following along, we finished up the Jody Stokowski calls, this last batch that we got. And then, of course, in the meantime, Brenda Schuler has released, producer from Convicted in Murder, released 3 documents, all pertaining to the Colburn v. Netflix case. And we went through 2 of those documents. And after we get done here in a little while, I'm going to schedule a live for tomorrow evening by 5 Central. We're going to go through the last document. And this is the main one we went through the other night was an interview that Andrew Colburn did with convicting producers. We didn't get the questions. We only got the answers, which is weird. We got kind of the same thing coming up again. It's a different document. We have answers, but we don't have the actual question that he gets asked. And it really, we can take from it a lot, but we can't take everything because without the question, we don't have full context. But anyway, that's going to be scheduled for tomorrow. I think Doc's taking another week off. He's not going to do anything Saturday, so I may plan something for Saturday and Sunday that we can goof around with for a little while. Just keep things going, keep talking till they're walking, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
sounds good.
All righty. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you, Jack and Susan and Kay, for reading tonight. I really I really kind of expect to be back next week in some way, shape, or form. So
I'll just say I really plan to just read that straight, but I just can't help it.
to read, Jannie Ligons.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you can't really do that. It's not really possible. It's okay.
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah, you read it however you want to read it. That's how I feel. You guys know me. I don't read anything in my own accent or my own voice. I always have to add some little something. So it's fine. It makes it more interesting and entertaining in a lot of ways. So, all right, everybody. So, until next time, peace out.